and Barak Yahweh Barakatha, Yahushua Barak Yahweh Barakatha, Yahushua Bahashem, Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and sincerity. Lesson will be entitled, You Are Wiser Than Daniel. Edward Bernays, the father of propaganda. This video will be used for fair use purpose only.
The all-American breakfast. You get your eggs, you get your bacon, you get your sausages, you get your orange juice, you get your milk. But 100 years ago, that wasn't breakfast.
That wasn't the American breakfast.
A breakfast wasn't a thing. Edward Bernays, known as the father of propaganda, launched the breakfast campaign because the meat industry came to him and said, dude, we're slacking on meat sales. What can we do? So he's like, it's too hard to convince the average person. I need to go to the people that are already sources of authority. So what did he go and do? He went and convinced who? The doctors, the pediatricians, that breakfast was the most essential diet. With all these studies and all these experiments and all this bullshit, it was all paid propaganda. So Edward Bernays launches the breakfast propaganda campaign and turns breakfast into a rousing success. He did it as well with cigarettes. A famous one is...
So in a nutshell, Edward Bernays is the reason why people smoke cigarettes as well as eat breakfast. According to theconversation.com, The Manipulation of the American Mind, Edward Bernays, and the Birth of PR, published July 9th, 2015. The most interesting man in the world. Reach out and touch someone. Finger licking good. Such advertising slogans have become fixtures of American culture, and each year millions now tune into the Super Bowl as much for the ads as for the football. While no single person can claim exclusive credit for the ascendancy of advertising in American life, no one deserves credit more than a man most of us have never heard of, Edward Bernays. I first encountered Bernays through an article I was writing on propaganda, and it quickly became clear that he was one of the 20th century's foremost salesmen of ideas. The fact that 20 years have elapsed since his death provides a fitting opportunity to re-examine his legacy. Often referred to as the father of public relations, Bernays in 1928 published his seminal work, Propaganda, in which he argued that PR is not a gimmick, but a necessity. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. And this invisible government is talking about the international bankers that control this entire system. Okay? 13 Edomite families, beginning with the Rothschilds. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, and our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of. It is they who pull the wires that control the public mind, and the same man employed Edward Bernays. Bernays came by his beliefs honestly, born in Austria in 1891, the year Sigmund Freud published one of his earliest papers. If you know anything about Sigmund Freud, he is also known as the father of psychiatry. And psychiatry, when you break that term down, means the healing of the spirit. Bernays was also Freud's nephew twice over. His mother was Freud's sister, Anna. And his father, Eli Bernays, was the brother of Freud's wife, Martha. And also, Freud's sister, Anna, contributed to psychiatry. Drawing on the insights of his uncle Sigmund, a relationship Bernays was always quick to mention, he developed an approach he dubbed the engineering of consent. He provided he provided leaders the means to control and regiment the masses according to our will without their knowing about it. To do so, it was necessary to appeal not to the rational part of the mind, but the unconscious. Bernays acquired an impressive list of clients, ranging from manufacturers such as General Electric, Procter & Gamble, and the American Tobacco Company, to media outlets like CBS, and even politicians such as Calvin Coolidge. To counteract President Coolidge's stiff image, Bernays organized pancake breakfasts and White House concerts with Al Jolson and other Broadway performers. With Bernays' help, Coolidge won the 1924 election. Bernays' publicity campaigns were the stuff of legend. To overcome sales resistance to cigarette smoking among women, Bernays staged a demonstration at the 1929 Easter Parade, having fashionable young women flaunt their torches of freedom. He promoted Lucky Strikes by convincing women that the forest green hue of the cigarette pack was among the most fashionable of colors. The success of this effort was manifested in innumerable window displays and fashion shows. In the 1930s, he promoted cigarettes as both soothing to the throat and slimming to the waistline. But at home, Bernays was attempting to persuade his wife to kick the habit, a goddamn devil. When would find a pack of her parliaments in their home, he would snap every one of them in half and throw them in the toilet. While promoting cigarettes as soothing and slimming, Bernays, it seems, was aware of some of the earlier studies linking smoking to cancer, a goddamn devil. Bernays used the same techniques on children to convince kids that bathing could be fun. He sponsored soap sculpture competitions and floating contests. These were designed to prove that ivory bars were more buoyant than competing products. Bernays also used fear to sell products. For Dixie cups, Bernays launched a campaign to scare people into thinking that only disposable cups were sanitary. God damn. Bernays' ideas sold a lot more than cigarettes and Dixie cups. And guess what? Bernays was a so-called Jew, hence Amalek, the head tribe of the Edomites, so-called white people. PR, according to Wikipedia, is the practice of managing and disseminating information. Disseminating means spreading. So it is the practice of managing and spreading info from an individual or an organization to the public in order to influence their perception. So this devil, through the form of psychiatry, manipulated the mindset of public. Okay. Ezekiel 28:3. But you are wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from you. And we can associate Edward Bernays to this prophecy. Job 13:4. But you are forgers of lies. You are all physicians of no value. Edward Bernays promoted smoking cigarettes, although it was assumed he knew that it caused cancer. Okay, he promoted breakfast as well as Dixie cups, saying that they were considered as to be sanitary, all for the sake of money. Okay. And he can be classified as a forger of lies. And he also used doctors to promote the buying into of eating breakfast as a very important meal. Let's go to Psalm 64 and verse 6. They search out iniquities, hence Edward Bernays. They accomplish a diligent search, hence Edward Bernays, through PR. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the mind is deep. How deep? Because what he did was he targeted people's unconscious, okay, to eventually get them to buy Dixie cups, smoke cigarettes, and eating breakfast, okay, through the art of PR. And PR is nothing but the manipulation of the mind. Last precept. Habakkuk 2:16. You are filled with shame for glory. Drink you also, and let your foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto you, and shameful spewing shall be on your glory. And when you investigate shameful spewing in the Hebrew, is going into a vomit-like fashion. So if a person is throwing up, okay, that vomit is coming up very fast and forceful. And that's another way the Most High is describing that when it comes to America, he's basically blasting America, utilizing his prophets in a vomit-like fashion. Look at all the videos, okay, that is coming out on America. Look how rapid and forceful that Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is doing this in a vomit-like fashion. Okay, you are wiser than Daniel. Hence, Edward Bernays, the father of propaganda. Lord will, you're edified. Shalom.